High school was the worst. Getting up extremely early and cycling through the cold winter was one thing. But then after that, getting surrounded by possibly the worst people you'll ever meet in your life, it's pretty much the icing on the already shitty cake to make this the worst possible time in your life. Okay, maybe some of you had a great time over there, which makes me extremely jealous, because I did not. I put my finger to the majority of the school on why that is, which I'll rant about today. But before we do that, keep in mind I live in the Netherlands, so my experience might be completely different from wherever you come from. Also, like and subscribe. The basic white girls, aka pretty much the majority of teenage girls we had in this building. For you Americans out there, they might be named Becky, Emily, Madison, but in the Netherlands, they're named Lieke, Eva, and Sophie. Other than this small difference, they're literally a copy-paste. Let's start off with the first issue I have with them. I am actually dog shit with names. It's already hard enough for me to memorize a guy that looks completely different to everybody, let alone this group of girls. Because the only way you can distinguish them is by their fucking birthmark. Other than that, they look and act the same. And with acting the same, I mean extremely annoying. So it's 9 o'clock at school and I'm trying to recover from waking up too early for my comfort. But then next to me I hear a group of white girls giggling and laughing at possibly the worst joke known to man. And the worst part is, they don't stop. Shut the fuck up and be miserable with me for once. Also, for an immigrant guy like myself, it always feels like they look down upon you. Not only because of my appearance, but also economically. The issue is, even if you as an immigrant are rich enough to buy their entire family twice, they still have this type of superiority complex. I also have to add in that it's not only their behavior that makes me mad, but also the way the teachers were treating them. So, the teacher orders the entire class to focus on their work and not say a word. But then behind me, I hear these obnoxious fucktards giggling and laughing loudly like usual. The teacher does not say a word. So then I lean close to my friend who is sitting next to me to ask him a question. But as soon as my mouth opens up, the teacher not only screams at me to shut my mouth, but he also tells me that I look like a hobo, smell like a skunk's ass, and that he will kidnap my entire family. I then made the mistake by confronting him with a blatant favoritism. But before I could finish the sentence, he shuts me up again and pulls up an AK-47 and aims it at my head. Chill the fuck out, dude. The political kids are the worst. In the earlier years, I also used to be one of these degenerates, but thank goodness I grew out of it. I would not wish it upon anybody to sit next to these creatures, because the moment you do, all you will hear is Kim Jong-un, Stalin, Mao Zedong, and other types of jokes that are so painfully unfunny, you're left tearing up. Oh, but don't you dare tear up in front of them, because you'll be labeled a sensitive snowflake. Like, they genuinely pull up the most extremist stuff that would shock even the H-word himself, and they expect us to take it to the chin as if it's the most normal thing. These types of people also love debating. Like, they're trying to convince you it's okay to shoot up everybody that looks one shade outside of the norm. And then when you give up, they still continue. Like, for the love of God, stop explaining why Mussolini is a great man. If you're rage baiting, you already succeeded. You're beating a dead horse at this point. These people just straight up smell horrible. I have had a few people in my school that look like the stereotypical neckbeard, looking like they have never touched a shaving kit in their life, and neither does it look like showering is in their routine. Walking around with the greasiest hair imaginable. I know people whose hair has been receding in their teenage years, but then you're out there neglecting the same follicles people go to Turkey for. At this point, just donate it to my bald uncle. He would appreciate it greatly. So, personality-wise, there is not much to say about them. They're pretty much the weird kid, moderating a Discord server, being very active on Reddit, and being a little too much into lolicon. Though, at least they keep to themselves. Until you make the mistake by chatting with them. Which I didn't for the sake of my own sanity. Hell, I never even sat close enough to them to have an actual chat, as my nose is a little too sensitive to smell their shirt with sweat from months ago. I genuinely believe that once they go to the bathroom, they're the type of person to not wash their hands. So, just in case their dirty little hands touches my skin, you best bet I will wash that area 5 times once I step into the shower. Alright, so next up we have the Wannabe Gangsters. I know that there are some areas in the world that have a real gang problem, but in the Netherlands, that is extremely limited. So, I can comfortably say that this country is relatively safe. This safety is a little too boring to some losers out there who want a little more action in their miserable life. So they make up this random gang and have a goofy ass gang war with other losers out there. they also dress up in the exact same way. They walk around in a tracking suit, wearing a puffy jacket, and sometimes even cover their face while walking around with an entire samurai sword. And all of this for their own safety. Some people were even caught with literal guns in their locker. I am not making this shit up. So at school we had an entire plague of these types of people. They were loud, obnoxious, and the moment a fight breaks out, you know who caused it. One time we had these two guys who had this minor disagreement, and their ego could not handle it. So instead of dealing with it the mature way, they decided to pick a random time after school and confront one another. You know, if it was a 1v1, I wouldn't have that big of an issue with it. But of course these people are fucking pussies and invited other people from different schools to partake. With this shit going as far as a guy literally pulling out this machete. Keep in mind, this isn't Mexico. This isn't the USA. This is the Netherlands, one of the safest countries in the world, which is being ruined by a bunch of wannabes. I propose introducing these guys to the Mexican cartel, and we'll see if gang life still looks appealing to them. Alright, so lastly we have the nerd. By the way, I do not mean the smart kids, as they are chill most of the time. The nerd is this annoying know-it-all. Make one mistake and it's over, as they'll start correcting you in the most degrading way possible. The funniest thing is though, sometimes they themselves are wrong too, but instead of owning up to it, they'll continue on, digging themselves even deeper. On top of that, they're also the worst gatekeepers known to man. Here's the difference between the smart kid and the nerd. The smart kid always lets you cheat off of their test, but as soon as you try this shit on a nerd, they'll snitch the hell out of you. They're acting as if they're protecting the secret Krabby Patty formula. Also, speaking of snitching, these people are possibly the biggest teacher's pet out there, to a level where even the teacher themselves hate them, reminding them of homework, asking too many questions, and constantly interrupting other people. I feel horrible for the teacher. I know all of them used to be students and also had to deal with these nut jobs, so they despise them as well. Too bad they cannot do shit about it, because the nerd is technically right. Yes, we are supposed to do our homework, but give us a break. The fact that your parents are forcing you to only focus on school is your problem, not ours. We have lives. So that's it for today. Comment down below the types of people that really annoyed you back in high school, especially ones that are more prominent in your country. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one.